Hello, welcome on board the slow boat to Melbourne. We have made no progress towards Melbourne in the last 24 hours. In fact, we got 17 miles further away, so I still have 167 miles to go. Now that was always going to be expected yesterday. I knew I had headwinds coming overnight and I had a choice of either going to the west, slightly northwest with the headwinds, or southeast, and I chose northwest because that lines me up better for what is going to happen next. Now the incredible thing this morning is because the wind is now coming from the north sector, it's blowing off Australia. It's a warm wind, it's a dry wind. It's so different from the wind that I've had for the last 44 days. It's warm and dry, and I can smell Australia. I can smell earth. I can smell, I can definitely smell something kind of woody. And I want to say eucalyptus, but probably that's probably just my brain making an association. But there is definitely that kind of piney, dry, foresty smell, which is absolutely incredible. And I've had a couple of moths land on the boat too, so obviously they've been blown off the land with this breeze. You can see the sky around me is definitely stating its intentions. It's a very mean looking sky, and looking at the forecast, I'm expecting that by tonight I'm going to have 30-35 knot winds, which will build to 40 knots, gusting 45 overnight. And by tomorrow, the sea state will be 5 to 5.5 meters. It's not going to be pleasant, but it'll be absolutely fine. I did all my checks yesterday. Today, I definitely need to just tidy up the inside of the boat because I've got a little bit used to not having things thrown around down below. So it's time to just put stuff away, make sure I'm in the best shape possible. And then later in the day, as the breeze builds, I'm going to end up taking my trysail down to save it for the last couple of days, and we'll do the nighttime just under storm jib. You can see here my track yesterday. As the wind started coming from the northeast, I was forced in a northwesterly direction overnight. And then this morning, the wind came round to the north, which enabled me to tack and head back this way. Although you can see from the heading on the boat there, it's still quite hard to maintain any kind of ground to the north. If I advance the weather on 3 hours, so the diamond here shows where the routing thinks the boat will be. So by 3 hours time, the wind is building to 30 knots and coming from the northwest. In 6 hours time, I've got 35 knots. 9 hours time, that's building to 37, 38. 12 hours time, there's a solid 40 knots all across this whole picture. So that's going to be in 12 hours time. That's going to be the worst conditions for me. Big sea states, over 5 meters, 40-45 knots of wind. 15 hours. And by 18 hours, it's moderated. One of the other things I'm concerned about is waves breaking into the cockpit. The plastic awning on the back of the cockpit has sustained a little bit of damage over the course of the race. There's a couple of zips that aren't quite good and some stitching that's gone. And I don't want the waves breaking onto that and damaging it further. So I think I'll probably end up taking that off today and putting it away. We've seen how when the waves break into the cockpit, they kind of grab every rope and take it out back of the boat. So I'm just going to make sure I've got all the ropes as tidy as they can be, and any ropes that don't need to be in the cockpit, I'll take them away. And I think probably I'm going to need to have the cabin door closed as well at the height of the storm, because the waves definitely will breach the dam here. So obviously I don't want them going down below. And then the other thing I'll do today is dismantle this. Because I think waves breaking across the deck, I don't want to lose these or damage those blocks. So I'll take the blocks off the traveller cars, and then I'm going to just push all the traveller cars to one side and tie them off so they can't move around. Just come out to sort out my cockpit and the main sheet track, and it's really starting to ramp up here. It's, I don't know, about 25, 26, 7 knots of wind maybe. But the thing that's just horrible is the sea stage. Just getting to sunset and the sea's starting to get really big out there. I've had a few squalls go over, and the boat sometimes just gets absolutely brutally slapped by the waves. I might have to alter my course in a bit. I think it's probably about 35 knots out there now. As it gets darker, I'll think about whether I want to be beam onto these waves, because it is getting a bit violent. But yeah, things are kind of progressing as we expected. I don't think it's going to be the most pleasant of nights, but everything's fine. Reckon I've got another 8 or 9 hours of this, and then things will start to die down a bit, and we can think about our final approaches to Melbourne.